Hey, so all of you should have your amazing pyRevit extension set up and ready, and most importantly, it has your own name on it. And now let's look inside of it and understand how does it actually work. So far we renamed two folders, added a path, and boom, it works. But let's look inside of it so you better understand how it works, so you can customize it, because it's 100% customizable. We can add, remove, rename, move, delete, we can do anything you can imagine with it. And that's exactly what we're gonna do in this video. So let's just jump straight in, and we're gonna start by looking at pyRevit extension anatomy. Because as you remember from previous lesson, your whole this kind of toolbar right here is just a folder structure which pyRevit reads and can display inside of Revit. And once you understand it, and it's not that complicated, you will be able to do whatever you want. So first of all, it starts with that extension folder. This is kind of the root folder of your extension. This is like your project folder. Inside, you're going to put everything else. For example, the tab one is going to represent the actual Revit tabs you see in Revit. And whatever you name it, you're going to see inside of Revit, like we did with pyRevit School. You can also have multiple ones, one extension, but you can have maybe architecture, MEP, structure, pyRevit School, and so on, kind of tabs in Revit. Mostly people use just one, and that's more than enough, trust me. But in case you want to separate it in the future, that's an option. Then inside of tab, we can put panels. And panels you can see right here. This is panel starter kit, resources, placeholder, dev panel. This is just to organize your buttons. You can also later drag it out and in and so on. So it's really cool to organize them by certain kind of category. And then inside we can put, normally the push button is just the regular button. You click on it and it executes Python code. By default, there's just this placeholder with a print statement. We're going to come back to that in a moment. We can also create URL button. These are just buttons that's going to lead you to some kind of website somewhere. For example, here I click on it and you can see it takes me to this tutorial. It's pretty much the same as this one starter kit. But also notice we can also group our buttons in special ways. First of all, there's a pull down menu, which is just kind of pull down folder. And inside you can put all your push buttons. Then it's going to be displayed like that. And there's also a stack. Stack allows you to put 2 or 3 items on top of each other. So it looks like this. And it's great for saving a lot of space. And also you can take your pull downs and put them inside of stacks. That's also an option. Great. And that's pretty much it about kind of organization. There are also 2 special folders, which are more like utility ones, and we're not going to cover them during fast track, but just so you know, library is just a place for your reusable code. So you have one place you're going to put your code, and then can reuse it in all your scripts, so you don't have to copy paste and kind of constantly kind of rewrite the same thing. You just write it once, reuse it everywhere. That's where you put it inside your lib folder. And also there are hooks, and this is a more advanced kind of topic. I'm going to cover it later in Power Up section of pyRevit School. But this is about subscribing to certain events in Revit and then executing code when they happen. For example, somebody syncs a model, you can fire up certain event, maybe log some information. Somebody deletes an element, you can fire up your script to check, is it a structural column? If yes, do this, if not, and so on. This is the hooks, we're not going to go there, quite advanced concept, but just know that there are also these utility folders. And that's pretty much it. And listen, it's super easy to understand because of this. In the starter kit, when you click on buttons, you're going to get this default message. And notice that. Hold Alt+CLICK to open the source code of this button. This is a super useful feature inside of pyRevit. So let's hold Alt and click on this push button. It's going to open the folder where it's located, and you will see a script.py file and an icon. You can replace an icon. You can also open your script.py. Let me just use Notepad because we haven't set up code editor yet. So I'm going to be on the same level as you. We can see the code. I can come here in title, change the name, push button A if I would want to, and so on. And what's really cool, you can explore your folder structure while looking inside of Revit. For example, now I'm in placeholder panel.panel, which is that one right here. And I can see the first one is push button example, which is that button right here. Second one is URL button, which is that one right here. Then pull down example right here, and stack example right here. So I can look at existing kind of pyRevit extensions and figure out how it's structured, and I can just copy and mimic it the same way. That's what's so cool about it. Now, also, we're not only limited to our extension. We can go to the main pyRevit extension, hold Alt, and let's say, well, first let's go to views maybe, and then hold Alt. I don't know, I'm just going to select random one, for example, that one, and it's going to open a tab. Then there's a script file, there are icons, there's bundle, there's everything. Very, very convenient. can also go to extensions like EF tools or any other. Alt-click, you can find the source code, you can learn from it, you can steal, reuse, learn how to organize extensions, and so on. That's why pyRevit is so cool. I think that's #1 feature why everybody loves it so much, because it's open source. We can look at everything behind the scenes. But here's the thing. Also, because of everything is so simple, we can alt-click on any button, and again, we can open and rename it. For now, we don't have code editor. Let me just open with Notepad. Let's say that one is going to be a Revit killer feature. Save it. Now let's get back and nothing changed. Well, we need to go to pyRevit, then there's reload. It's going to reload pyRevit and all pyRevit extensions based on that. You can also even look at this button and copy it inside your extension, and that's going to work because that's how pyRevit works. That's why it's so amazing. Now let's just wait a little, come back, and now I have my Revit killer feature. Obviously for now it's just a print statement, but we could actually extend it later. Now, what do we want to do now? Well, first of all, with Alt-click, I'm going to open that one and we're going to clean up a little. I don't want to have any of these kind of buttons and stacks we created here. Maybe you don't want to see my tutorial. Alt-click on that one. Let's get back. By the way, I'm going to update it later on, so that's your call. Let's delete the whole panel. Resources, I'm going to keep for now. Placeholder panel, going to maybe duplicate that one. So let's come back, come here, copy, paste. There are different ways to kind of organize in terms of order. One of them is just putting numbers in front. Then it's like 1, 2, 3, and so on. So let's also keep it 1. And this is going to be push button example 2. But also, this is not where the name is. The name is either inside Python file, or there's also an option create Bundle.Yaml file. I'm not big a fan of them, but I know that pyRevit, like developer team, they like to use them and they want to more enforce them on us. But anyway, let's just open the script file right here, push button 2, save it. That's it. Let's get back, pyRevit, reload. Let's see what happens. Also, it's quite annoying to always go to this pyRevit tab, find this reload button. Many people just copy to their extensions, or you can make a shortcut for that. Let's just get back. You can see everything cleaned up a little. So I'm going to click on Key S to open keyboard shortcuts. Then in there, I think you just need reload. That's it. Here is the reload button. I like to make it PRR, pyRevit reload. You can choose whatever you want. Okay, now PRR, and it's going to reload it. And now look at that. We removed a bunch of sections. We added new button here. And notice that the order, it's not always updated correctly on the first try. Because for certain things, you need to restart your Revit. So then it's going to be placed right here according to alphabetical order. Because when you just create new items, they usually add it to the end. And the same thing happens with stacks. When you had buttons and then you move them inside stacks, they might not show as stacks at first. So you might need to restart Revit. That's very common. Don't panic. Just like whenever something is not right with the order, position, stacks, and all of that, restart your Revit, see if it works. In 90% cases, that's going to solve it. Trust me. What else? Oh, by the way, maybe you want to change the icon. Well, let's go to resources. I'm going to go to icons8.com. That's a very common one. And there are different ways to get your icons here. What I like to do is, well, let's say that I want to say, I don't know, def. What I like to do is go to the styles and choose a consistent style. Example, lately, I like that one, sticker. I'm not telling you to use that one, use whatever you like, but that's what I'm going to use. Let's say we're going to grab, yeah, that one is fine. Maybe I'm going to go change the color if I want to. Instead of blue, I'm just going to make it orange. Why not? Instead of that one, black. Done. Download. Now, important thing. All your icons should be maximum 96 × 96 pixels. They can be lower, they cannot be bigger, because then you're going to get warnings, and that's not nice. So let's select 96 × 96, download. Now we got your new icon. Now I'm just going to copy that one. Again, Alt-click on any button, remove existing icon, paste the new one. And I'm just going to rename it to icon.png. I think I can put here whatever I want, but it always have to end in icon.png. But for icons, just call it icon.png, that's fine. If you want to have different icons for light and dark themes, you can do that. Just call it icon.dark.png. Then this one is going to be light version, this is going to be dark version. But I like to use some kind of colored icons now, especially maybe with the borders. Then it doesn't matter if it's dark one or light one, and I'm going to prove it to you. Let's go to pyRevit, reload it. Now here's updated icon. Perfect, exactly like I wanted. Then File, Options. And let me just find where to change colors. Look at that. Now the dark theme, it still looks decent, maybe even better. Well, definitely not worse. But you know, sometimes you go and you're gonna see that some icons become kind of gray and stuff like that. Sometimes they don't register that it's a dark or light theme. So I like to use colored ones from the start. And I like to have one icon. Otherwise you have two icons, and I know it doesn't sound like much, but when you have like 50 tools and plus and you need to update something, becomes annoying. So yeah, even here in EF tools, they were supposed to be orange, so I need to restart Revit to see it correctly. But with my colored ones, I don't care. They look good. Well, if you don't think so, well, you can find better icons. That's the thing. Now let me get back to white theme. Even though I like dark themes, Revit is the only software where it's like the worst one. Just one more thing. With Alt+CLICK, let's just go inside to the panel. Let's actually go out again to tab. You'll notice this Bundle.Yaml file. These are the files that can hold different metadata. And it's important because one of these data is the layout. You can control the layout, so the right order, by putting here the panel names. For example, I had my starter kit first, resources second, placeholder panel third, and then def fourth. Now the first one is missing, it doesn't matter, but it follows the order. And let's maybe copy that one. And we're going to change the name here to something else like, I don't know, new panel. Then we're going to come here and we're going to reload pyRevit. Then when it reloads, actually it showed up. I think pyRevit made some changes because before, if you didn't put your new panels here, then it would not show up at all. But I think they fixed it, which is kind of nice, but before it was also nice that we could hide it. But either way, it's there. It's quite cool that, well, sometimes you need to come here and add it as well. Alright guys, and that's the pyRevit anatomy. That's how you can control what's inside. You can change the names, location, movements, anything you want. That's everything open source. Look at other extensions, get inspired by them, steal their tools. It's all totally fine to do. And now we're gonna go to the next lesson and finally prepare your code editor, because I bet you cannot wait to jump into pyRevit code. So see you soon.